Excellent. Clem, voice these Castlevania characters for me, please. I'll just be sat here having a drink. Look, guys, all I'm saying is if we splash blood on Dracula's coffin, I'll probably resurrect him. So we're back with more video games. That's the wrong way. More video games. As my voice and throat continue to recover, you may be able to hear it. So we're not doing a full stream of me doing voices for multiple characters again. I was going to do Spyro 2. I was a little hesitant because we did Crash 3 on Saturday. I was like, do I want to jump into another platformer? And then it was like, oh wait, there's Castlevania Chronicles. You know what we've not had enough of this year? Castlevania. Which, like, feels like every year. There's not enough Castlevania on this channel for my liking. Also, I can promise you, you are not prepared for how funky this soundtrack is. I don't know who is in charge of the composition. I should find that out in a moment. Dota Fujimori. Oh, he's credited as the composer for the PlayStation version, not the original version. Right, Sota Fujimori composed the new arrangements for the Arrange mode, which is new to the PlayStation version because this game was originally released for the Sharp X68000, which is a home PC only released in Japan, I believe. It is honestly kind of crazy. Excessively funky a lot of these tracks are. You're not ready. You're not ready for this. So yeah, probably not enough Castlevania on this channel for my liking. We're going to do more. The only Castlevania game on PlayStation that we haven't already completed on stream. Because for some reason there are only 2 Castlevania games on the PlayStation. Which is less than most systems that got Castlevania games. The NES got 3. The Game Boy got 3. The Game Boy Advance got 3. The DS got 3. I suppose, like, PlayStation got 2, Nintendo 64 got 2, the PS2 got 2. PS3 and 360 did get 3. I was ready to start playing the game. Can't show you the funky fresh mix of Bloody Tears just yet. How you doing, Clem? Arrange mode. We're going to turn this on to 5 lives. Normal difficulty, because this isn't my first rodeo. Cowboy. Added especially for fans outside Japan. I don't remember what this is. I know we've looked at this. I don't remember what it is. Interview with the producer. Right. This is Symphony of the Night music. That's Final Toccata. That's Koji Igarashi.
ディレクションとプログラムっていうのが一番有名だと思うんですけれども、日本国内の方ではですね、ときめきメモリアルっていう作品がありまして、それのシナリオなんかもちょっと書いちゃったりしたりしてます。一番好きなのは悪魔城伝説が一番好きなんですけれども、その他にこれもまた日本国内だけでも発売なんですけれども、悪魔城ドラキュラ X 血のロンドっていう作品がありまして、それもすごい好きな作品の一つです。
Yeah, it's Clem's favorite as well, yeah.
その元になったタイトルなんですけれども、パソコンのしかも日本国内でしか発売されてない作品なんです。当時パソコンなんてのは持ってる人いませんので、今の時期になってもう非常に移植希望が高まってきていると。しかもこの作品の評価が非常に高い。自分で今遊んでも非常に面白い作品ですので、これをファンの皆さんに遊んでもらえない海外の皆さんにとってはですね、全然見てもいない作品ですので、これを今復活。
It's nice to see a Japanese developer showing an interest in getting a Japanese-only game playable to fans outside Japan. Especially like for the sake of them playing it rather than like, yeah, because it'll make more money. A lot of Japanese companies do not give a shit about their games outside Japan.
ゲーム性なんですけれども、その一作目のリメイクということもありまして、ゲーム性はその流れを受け継いでおります。ただプレイヤーのですね、操作性が非常に格段に良くなっております。具体的に言いますと、ジャンプ中の軌道が変えられたりとか、無知がジャンプ中にですけれども下方向に打つことができる。プレイヤーの操作性が上がっていることで非常に
Who was the cameraman for this interview?
より面白くなっているというようになっております。僕の頭の中ではですね、次作りたいなというのはもう決まっているんですけれども、
It's an interesting question because as far as I'm aware, there were no more ports of
皆さんの熱い要望にかかっていると言っても
classic Castlevania titles
今回
for
の
this.
インタビューの
This was arguably the last one. There was the Castlevania port on Game Boy Advance as part of the NES Classics series. That wasn't specifically a Castlevania thing because a lot of NES games got that.
ここに加えてですね、
And then
サウンドとグラフィック
Castlevania The
の
Adventure
非常
got a
に高いクオリ
remake
ティっていうの
on
が
WiiWare,
まあ
The Adventure Rebirth.
皆さんにご支持していただけ
It
る
was like in
大きな理由だと思い
2008.
ます実は発売時期に関してはまだ皆さんにお知らせすることはちょっとできないんですけれども、まあ、今企画を詰めながらそのゲームの下地に
Yeah,
な
at
る
this
部分
point
を
in
作って
time,
い
like,
ると
what
ころ
would
です。
Igarashi have been
まあ
working
非
on?
常にあっと驚くような
Lament of
いろんな
Innocence,
ことを考え
maybe?
ておりますので、皆さん楽しみにしていただければいいなと思います。で今回の企画はですね、非常に豪華なメンバーを集めさせていただきました。まあ、具体的に言いますと、キャスルバニアシンフォニー・オブ・ザ・ナイトのスタッフであるとか、あくまでドラクエの土のロンのスタッフであるとか、まあ、
Excellent.
僕が知って
Welcome
い
on
る
in,
限
babe.
りこの人はドラキュアに絶対必要だという思う人たちが集結されてチームが作られております。はい、一番その大きな理由としましては、アクションゲームの寿命の短さっていうのがポイントです。ゲームって非常に高いと思うんですね。その分長い間楽しんでもらいたいなと、どうにかしてアクションゲームを長く遊ばせるっていう方法を考えたかったんですね。今までのキャスルバニアっていうのは、
It's okay, because we haven't started playing the Castlevania yet. So you've not missed any of the funky, fresh styles of this honest-to-God ridiculous soundtrack.
いう考え方で今までのキャスルバニアシリーズとは大きくものすごく変わったところだと思います。それとですね、アクションゲームはやっぱ得意不得意があると思うんですね。その得意不得意があるっていうだけで、同じお金を出してるのに非常にアクションゲームが不得意な人はエンディングまで見れないというのは、そのお金分だけ楽しんでるのはとても思えない。そこで
And as a reward for you being here for me, Clem, I will allow you to experience the funky, fresh soundtrack.
そういう考え方を盛り込んでいった結果がシンフォニー・オブ・ザ・ナイトっていう作品になりました。あとストーリー的にもちょっと今までのキャッスルバニアよりも凝ってるとは思うんですけれども、キャッスルバニアシリーズっていうのは歴史的につながっているように作られているんですけども、実はその根幹的なところでつながってなかったりとか結構するんで、
Castlevania series does not have a very
シンフォニー・オブ・ザ・
strong
ナイトの
universe.
中では歴史的につなげてまとめることによって、やっぱりそのキャッスルバニアシリーズの世界観っていうのを奥深いものにちょっとしようかなと思って作りました。
Yeah, like after this, they didn't really. Why didn't that play? I know I set that up. Why did it not play?
You are worthy.
Uh-huh. So... Yeah, why is that one? Alright, give me... Should be in the right file format. What is the issue? Yeah, so there's no audio in the track. Understood. It is worthless. Do I still have the file? Bear with me. Good. It's always fun when I make these sound alerts in real time. Like just right in front of you guys while you just sit there and stare at me. My favourite part of streams. Okay, so it should be here. And a little more, get the right. Yeah, that's good. Oh, and that should be good. Put it, print it, ship it, render it. Okay, double check sound file. It has come out negative again. Fucking wonderful. I love it when that happens. Probably poured too much rum into this. But I'm a big boy. I will deal with my own mistakes. Like God intended. Good cut, print, try again. Bang, bang, bang. Pull my devil trigger. Excellent, that's actually fucking working this time. With me just a second longer. We will have it ready in just a moment. And now if I delete that, put that out, copy, print, paste. What? I was very surprised that I didn't already have what as a sound command taken. With the obvious sound command of Alucard saying, what? But that is Klim. Klim has that.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
And there we have it. The sound alert Bane has requested. Taken care of, ready to roll in under 5 minutes. Just so now if you try exclamation mark what again, it will give you our most illustrious Arlie Ermy in his legendary role, the role that made him that he then continued to play throughout every role he ever had. From Full Metal Jacket.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
With Full Metal Jacket there as well, I might also grab who said that? Who the fuck said that? Because that's also a good one. It's a jelly donut, sir! Anyway, Castlevania. We've been streaming for 25 minutes. We haven't started Castlevania, so let's start Castlevania, shall we? the legendary Belmont, Pingus. Pingus Belmont. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? Here we go. Arrange mode also features Ayama Kojima's redesign of Simon Belmont as a red-haired, leather-clad barbarian. Hi, zombie. Come on, Clem, you love it. I can believe that. It's going to get even more funky fried. So, like, if you're after classic Castlevania, Castlevania Chronicles is kind of really underrated. It's genuine. I remember the ice physics thing, thank you. It's genuinely really good and underappreciated. Work those thighs, work those thighs, work those thighs. I can't believe you're doing Castlevania things without me, Clem. So, at its core, this is a port with a bonus mode of the Castlevania remake for the Sharp 68,000. If you know your original Castlevania, you'll know this wall on the right here is breakable and spawns out, I think, meat? I'm sure it's not a double shot, I'm pretty sure it's meat. If you remember that and try to do it here, it is a trap that will infinitely spawn Fleamen. So, like, maybe don't do that. Yeah. Bastard. So range mode is really good for beginners like Clem as well, because it primarily removes knockback, generally makes the game easier. And largely more accessible. The original is very much classic Castlevania difficulty. Anyway, welcome in, Panda. Love pronouncing the name funny if you play Castlevanias. The Fleamen. There's a lot of Zambambos. But yeah, if you have any interest in classic Castlevania and you've never played this before, I do recommend it. It's really good. And it looks, based on the first level, it looks like mostly a one-to-one recreation of the original game with some graphical enhancements. It stops being that very quickly. I'm sorry, it looked like you were dead there for a second, and I got complacent. Yeah. Muscle Man. Yeah, bitch. So yeah, stage 1, very Castlevania 1. Stage 2 is not. It gets very different very quickly. Which is also really good if you played Castlevania 1, because it's variety. And now it's time for some smooth jazz. Probably. I know, this feels like a Silent Hill track. Like, this feels like something out of the opening, the first level. This feels like the intro movie to... Not the intro, the opening bit after Heather wakes up in the restaurant in Silent Hill 3. You're gonna kill Dracula tonight or die trying. Fucking homing bats. That guy was just going the wrong way. I just love it, Clem. Seriously, genuinely underrated game here. Yep. I have all the answers to your whip-related questions. Ah, shit. A lot of installments mess with whip directions. Various specific Castlevania games do have multi-directional whipping. It's something that was introduced in Super Castlevania 4, where Simon could whip in 8 directions. Whip it while you're jumping. In Bloodlines, which I believe was the next Castlevania game that came out on console, at least, after Super Castlevania 4, John Morris can whip diagonally up. He can whip diagonally down and down, but only while jumping. I wish I had my axe. a big part of the reason why they don't do a lot of the directional whipping in other games is largely due to the sub-weapons. Fucking motherfucker, come here. Piece of shit. Oh, thank you. I didn't want that. Yeah, it's largely due to the sub-weapons. The traditional control method, and you'll be aware of this because you've played stuff like Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night and Aria of Sorrow, which continue it. The traditional method of using sub-weapons is up and attack. Super Castlevania 4 had a really good idea, which was to just map that onto the shoulder button. So in Super Castlevania 4, your shoulder button, R, is the sub-weapon, which freed up attacking up, directional up, for whatever they wanted, which they used for whip directions. Bloodlines also retains this because these sub-weapons are on the C button. But with Rondo of Blood, again, because Rondo of Blood was on the PC Engine CD, the PC Engine CD had a 2-button controller like the NES. So they had to go back to up and attack. Rondo of Blood was also arguably the most influential game in the series in terms of like the series going forward. A lot of games followed its example and template. And so generally since then, it became very uncommon to have the multi-directional whip again. Dracula X on Super Nintendo was based on that, so they continued it there. Symphony of the Night had other buttons doing other stuff, but you also didn't have a whip, so it wasn't as big a deal there. There we go. So the multi-directional whipping stopped largely due to Rondo of Blood's influence. A combination of that, and a lot of Castlevania games following that didn't actually use the whip. I believe multi-directional whipping would be brought back in some capacity in the multiplayer game Harmony of Despair. Julius would be able to whip in any direction. And also use his whip to swing off Shinowa's Magnus points, in a similar way to how Simon could swing off points in Super Castlevania 4. 3 monsters. You don't get to have a second monster, that's not fair. So I hope that's answered your question to a degree that you are satisfied with them. Please excuse me, I am very sneezy today apparently, and also my ribs hurt. If you listen carefully, you'll note this is also a funky remix of the classic Castlevania track Wicked Child. Which is one of my favourite Castlevania tracks. Lee Men and Tree Men. These stone men are shooting arrows at me. And the arrows are made of wood. Made of wood. Excellent. But yeah, if you want an underrated Castlevania track that is genuinely fantastic, basically every time it appears in the series, Wicked Child is really good, and it's probably my favourite track from the original game. It plays during Stage 3. Holy water, you've been down too long in Dracula's castle. Fuck off. Let's come soon. Yeah, I think it's specifically an issue of control with sub-weapons. And Rondo of Blood's influence on the series as a whole. And that a lot of games following Rondo of Blood didn't really use the whip anymore. That's my head, you bastard. Because while Rondo of Blood wasn't released outside Japan, it being followed with Symphony of the Night also really helped it. And generally it is arguably the best of the classic venues anyway. It does so much right while refining the basic formula. It's like, I would probably prefer the sub-weapon. Oh my god, that wood. That's a mud woman. I would generally prefer the sub-weapons to be on a separate button rather than up and attack. It'd make them so much easier to use. Is it? I believe it's 13. I will check the YouTube archive right now. The year of PlayStation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes, it is 14. 14. Well played, sir. There's an interesting thing that the Happy Video Game Nerd brought up back when he was the Happy Video Game Nerd, talking about Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth. And it's like, following Symphony of the Night, there was only, like, one. Oh boy. There was only, like, one or two. Yeah, no, following Symphony of the Night, there was only one Castlevania game released after that was a classic Castlevania game that wasn't a remake. And that was Castlevania Legends. After that, the only classic Castlevania games that were released following that were both remakes. Dracula X Chronicles on the PSP, which is a remake of Rondo of Blood, and Castlevania Adventure Rebirth, which is a remake of The Adventure. Dracula X Chronicles follows the Rondo of Blood style, and is basically played with 2 or 3 buttons. And Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth follows the style of Castlevania The Adventure, which was a Game Boy game, so also only uses 2 buttons, but is also controlled with the Wii Remote held sideways. So being controlled with 2 buttons is pretty important for that. Yeah, like, following Super Castlevania 4, the only other game after that that used another button for sub-weapons was Bloodlines on a Mega Drive, because it had the 3-button controller. And every other Castlevania game, especially Classicvania game that came out, only had the 2-button controller. So if you had the multi-directional whip in that as well, you wouldn't be able to have the sub-weapons, or you'd need to put the sub-weapons on, like, select or something. Like, if you had the multi-directional whip in, say, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge on Game Boy, you would then need to put the sub-weapons on, like, select. Alright, so remember, we can stop on a dime if we just crank. There was an interesting point brought up, if anybody remembers Egoraptor's Sequelitis series, which generally wasn't great and was very heavy on Egoraptor's nostalgia bias. But he brought up a fair point in his Sequelitis video on Super Castlevania 4, in that being able to whip in all directions, he'd remove a lot of utility from the sub-weapons as well. And it's true, for the most part, you'll probably spend most of Super Castlevania 4 not using sub-weapons. And the only ones you'll generally tend to use after that will be probably something like the cross, because it'll go further and you can spam it. Like, you get a triple shot cross in Super Castlevania 4, and you can just throw that thing over and over and over, and it will tear like almost any boss apart. But in previous games, because the whip could only go backwards and forwards, it necessitated the utility of the sub-weapons, especially something like the axe, which gave you more directional variety in your attacks. Like, in terms of just basic utility, the axe is one of the most useful sub-weapons in classic Castlevania. Especially once you master the arc of it and just get to an instinctual point where you can feel the arc, what the arc will be. That motherfucker took my heart. But like, if you've got something like Medusa heads coming at you from above, or bats, or flea men especially, the axe was really useful for catching those things. And being able to just whip in any of the 8 directions reduced the utility of it. So that could also be another reason why they didn't really bring back multi-directional whipping. And certainly why they nerfed it in Bloodlines. Cain wasn't a mage, no. Here it is, it's your Bloody Tears remix. Medusa heads. The bitches are back. The truly interesting thing about Medusa heads is they're regarded as like one of the most hated Castlevania enemies. Rightly so, they're frustrating as fuck. But the patterns are actually super simple and have remained the same in like every Castlevania game. They proceed on a basic oscillation wave. And once you know that, once you recognize that pattern, they're a lot easier to deal with, though they can still absolutely give you trouble. Especially where the game gets really dickish with some of its ideas. The Medusa heads, the bitches are back. Yeah, especially where the game gets really dickish with its design ideas. Prime example being the corridor leading to death in the original Castlevania game, where you've got the axe armors in front of you throwing axes. You've got to proceed through them, and you've got Medusa heads coming at you from both sides. And at that point, even though you'll probably know the regen time on these blood skeletons is crazy fast. Even though you will probably know the patterns, like, they can still be a major problem. Alright, so that's a choke point. I wanted to duck to aim at that bat. I was too close to the stairs, so I started going down the stairs. Yeah, Chronicles has a really good soundtrack, and something that's even cooler about this, there's two versions of this soundtrack on the disc. There's the original mode and there's the arrange mode. The arrange mode is really just rearrangements of the original tracks from original mode. So if you like them but not necessarily the instrumentation, like check out original mode or arrange mode, because there's another version of them with the same styles. Come on, you skelly boy. Come on. Alright, I'm coming to you. And I can assure you I'm not happy about it. Ah, shit. Forgot about this guy. I do really love classic Castlevania though. It's like... it's my favourite old school experience of this kind. Like, Clem has his Mega Man, I have my Castlevania. Like, I love Metroidvania style, and Metroidvania as a genre is probably one of my favourite genres. Like, the simplicity of the classic Castlevania games is of value in and of itself that you really can't deny. In the same way classic Mega Man is. Something that you could argue was kind of lost in the X series, as the X series made its way to PlayStation. And they started to get more complicated and such. Fuck, you could argue it was lost in Mega Man 8 as well. Come on, you little bastards. I think, like, the two series that really complement each other from this era, the best are absolutely Castlevania and Mega Man. Double shot holy water. Here she is. Why don't you laugh at me? I should be taking ballet lessons. That's nasty. Fortunately, I have an idea of how to get to her better. That was weird. Yeah. Yeah, while Clem gravitated towards Mega Man, I gravitated towards Castlevania. But I think it's mostly a case of just luck more than anything else. because I didn't have Mega Man when I was growing up. I think my first Mega Man game I ever played was Legends 2. And I didn't play all of that. First Mega Man game I beat was ZX Advent on DS. It's okay, Clem, I didn't play a lot of it. It's just the first one I played. Just one skeleton. I'm confident I could probably get through the rest of the level without taking damage to Medusa. Like, until I get to Medusa, except for this fucking skeleton. There we go. But yeah, like, the first Mega Man game I completed was ZX Advent on DS. Which is not easy. Good game, but it ain't easy. Go on, back up, you stupid. You're a bitch. Alright. Probably won't be able to beat Medusa with this much health, but we'll see. He's naked. God damn it. Ain't no getting off this train till the end of the ride. Yeah, I think it's just like fate or serendipity or whatever. That I ended up having Castlevania, Clint ended up having Mega Man. I was so scared for a second there that the bottom of those stairs had just unloaded and that jumping down there would be instant death. Which is something Castlevania games do, and I don't keep it straight in my head which ones don't do that. Yeah, I ended up with a surprising amount of Castlevania games as a kid. Not even through any desire to have them. I'm not even requesting them from my parents or anything. Just ended up with a lot of Castlevania games. Super Castlevania 4 on Super Nintendo. There was a long period where the only game I had for my Game Boy was Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge. Eventually I got Pokemon Yellow, but there was a good period where it was just Castlevania 2. Castlevania 64. Like, Symphony of the Night was my 4th Castlevania game. The longer I take here, the more it's going to spawn. Yeah, I find it kind of crazy and surprising that I ended up with that many. You get it? Because the statue's crying bloody tears. And they lose a loved one, even a devil may cry. It's not actually why the track's called Bloody Tears. Bloody Tears first appeared in Castlevania 2. And was just the daytime adventure track. It was called Bloody Tears, but there wasn't really a reason for it. Like, no reason beyond, like, Heart of Fire being called Heart of Fire, or Aquarius being called Aquarius, or whatever. You know, the knife is probably a better idea than the holy water for the fight. Well, I've got holy water anyway. It's kind of a shame that the series became so focused on 3 tracks, like one from the original 3 Castlevania games. And like, it's not solely focused on them. Other tracks do appear, tracks from like the rest of the first 3 games and such. And other tracks were introduced in later games. But the big 3 that people generally know and recall and pay attention to are usually Bloody Tears, like Vampire Killer, Bloody Tears at the beginning. And there are so many other good tracks that also deserve recognition. Like I say, I absolutely love Wicked Child from the original game. Well, we're gonna lose this fight. Double shot holy water isn't particularly useful right now. Haha! Secret meat. It's a meat crab. Did you know Medusa can send you to stone through beams fired from her hands? Getting faster. I don't think she appreciates me beating her up. Look at that. That's clutch. You have to get close to the camera for it to be like the Climpsiago. That looks like the Wolfman. just move on from that. The clock tower, generally the most tense of the classic Castlevania levels, because of the very precarious platforming, the tendency of the series to despawn platforms as soon as they're off screen. Castlevania 3's clock tower is particularly devious because of the way it renders enemies. Because it's an auto-scroller. The stage keeps moving up. But you can get to platforms before the enemies on those platforms have spawned. And then you'll be on those platforms and the enemies will just spawn out of nowhere. And it's very frustrating. But you gotta stay high up so that you outrun the bottom of the screen. Very frustrating. Yep, going back to that. It's a shame there aren't more Castlevania games on PlayStation, because I would be down to just play more of these. I guess we'll have to wait until we get to my eventual just chronology of Castlevania. Where I'm gonna play through like most of the games in the series in release order. Not all of them. Most of them. Well, I'm not playing Castlevania. I'm not playing the original Castlevania on the Commodore 64. I don't want to do that. That's not how I want to spend my life. Yeah, this is a clock tower, alright. But yeah, give me the whip. Ah, you bastard. Thank you. Oh, no, I want to release the flea, man. It's lame. It's not lame. Leeman, more like lame men. How's everybody doing? Are we doing good? Are we enjoying Castlevania? I'm enjoying Castlevania. I like Gear White to fight me. Love me some Castlevania. I'll take double shot cross. I'm not gonna take one of those. Yep, as is so often the case, the gears are bullshit. Fuck off. Why'd the axe? No! God damn it. Stuck on the fucking stairs. On a clock tower if it doesn't stop pissing you off. I got one life left and chances are the fucking piece of shit. Chances are the boss is death. It's like, I don't remember how to fight death in this game. These gears are bullshit. I defy you to tell me that I'm wrong with that. Even in the Metroidvania games, where the design of them makes them inherently easier than the classic Vanias, the clock towers are still very specifically designed to piss you off. Thank you, Panda. You bastard. You rat bastard. Taking the elevator.
That's my joke! I'll kill you! Yeah!
Oh. Oh, there was a whip there. I have to do with a tiny whip. Yeah. 5 hits to kill a bone pillar probably is excessive. But it's always been that way. Since the time of our forefathers. At least the swinging pendulums are less janky than they were in Castlevania 3. Like, good god, those things are terrifying to jump onto in Castlevania 3. Alright, alright. Why did one come out of that wall? Hello, yes, I would like some wall meat. No, not flea man, wall meat. Hello, Domino's, do you have any wall meat? You do? You better let the poor guy out then. What? Well, that slipped off. I'm not getting that double shot now. Just want some wall meat. Yay, I knew there'd be some there. The only reason that area could possibly exist. Oh, Domino's, I'd like to rate your delivery driver at 5 stars. His delivery of the wall meat was impeccable. Very happy with the service. Fuck off. Seriously, the gear that drops here, absolute bullshit design. Hate it. Every time I try to duck, I'm next to stairs. so I just end up going down the stairs. Dracula knows this is, of course, a hereditary weakness of the Belmont family, and as such does it deliberately. Unfortunately, poor Pingus Belmont cannot fight his breeding. Fuck off. Fucking stairs. That gear's going upstairs. What is that nonsense? There isn't fall damage in games like this, but for there to just be a gear right there is grade A bullshit. Alright, give me the axe. The axe should prove useful. Why are they always underneath me? Wonderful, we made it. See if we can hold on to this double shot cross. What time I'm doing with you, we're here right now. Usually kicking ass or two, that's what my boy time I'll do. Again, right underneath me. Just want to make it to the top of this hellscape. Fucking knew it. Keep your eye out for suspicious looking gears. Why are you alive again? Uh. You're not deaf. Oh god, it is a wolf man. But it's a woman. Wolfman woman. Oh god, I wasn't prepared for such genitalia. Oh, no. Back. Back, beast. First try. The Wolfman, I believe, was not actually introduced to Castlevania until Rondo of Blood, Stage 2 regular boss. Oh god, is that Doppelganger? That's a nice looking background. Where do I go? I don't want to drop off. There's no platform visible down there. I don't like that. Uh-oh. Can't make like Legolas in the third Hobbit movie. Shit. Ooh. We made it. This doesn't look like Castlevania stage. Oh, the balloons. A toy room aesthetic's an interesting choice for a Classicvania. We did see this kind of aesthetic in later Castlevania games. Very specifically, Dawn of Sorrow had an area that was kind of toy room-like. But I feel like in the Metroidvania area, it makes a little more sense design-wise. Oh, I'm going for it. Oh, god damn it. What did that mean? Can't believe nobody's complimenting my sweet dodging skills here. Because you didn't believe the dodges ran out. This is your fault. You didn't believe in the dodges. Fucking toy clowns. I do like this track. I'm not sure if it's a pre-existing track. Some of the songs in here sound so different from their original versions that it's hard to tell sometimes, like, what the original version was. But this is a really nice track. I do quite like it. How are you doing today, Glenn? Playing any video games? How's Rebirth going? Did you finish Rebirth yet? Okay, so the problem last time was that we went down for the meat. Last month? Oh. We're playing now, Clem. Is it Ghost of Tsushima? Are you playing Ghost of Tsushima? How's Ghost of Tsushima, Clem? Is it good? Should I start it? Fucking dolls. One complaint I will actually give this game, it doesn't have the thing of, like, really small thing, but something you grow to actually really appreciate and in some cases actually use. A lot of Castlevania games have the back arc of the whip when you go, have that be an active hitbox behind you. So you end up with a small hitbox radius behind you when you go to whip forward, just before you hit forward. And if you know it's there, and, like, the range of it, you can really make use out of it. This game doesn't have it. You're not playing Ghost of All You Can Eat Sushi. Disappointing, Club. Here, I'll let you borrow my copy. Here you go. Let me know what you think of it, Club. Let me just give that to you there. Let me know what you think of it. I haven't played it yet. Oh, you're going to lend me your copy of Final Fantasy 16? Thank you. This very kind of you, Clem. I'll give this a try at some point. Fucking dumb. They say small things please small minds, but, like, if it took big things to please me, having a big mind, I'd rather not have a big mind. I'd rather be stupid and happy. I'd rather be able to take joy in the dumb things, because life is more fun that way. But yeah, I don't know. I've been wanting to play Ghost of Tsushima. I picked it up when I got my PS5. It's one of the exclusives. It's not even PS5 exclusive. It was on PS4, but I hadn't bought it yet. So I got my PS5 and I was like, let me just grab the exclusives for this system that I'm interested in. Or, like, the games that aren't on PC that I'm interested in, I guess, even if some of them are on PS4. Just didn't own them yet. So I got God of War Ragnarok, and Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. I started God of War Ragnarok, and it's more Dad of Boy so far. I haven't put a huge amount of time. I put like 5 hours into it, and I've not done a huge amount of time. And then I bought Jedi Survivor because it doesn't work on PC, and it shouldn't have been sold in that state, but that's the modern gaming industry, so, you know, fuck us as the consumers. So I bought it on PS5, and played through that. And it's fine. Not outstanding, it's not stellar in any way. And it still has technical problems. God damn it. No, not Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade probably has better combat. It's like, Jedi Fallen Order got a bunch of interest because it had very deliberate Souls-like combat, which was interesting. Star Wars hadn't really done that before. I was talking with Mir about it, actually, and she said that Stellar Blade starts off feeling like that, or the demo gives you that impression, but then turns very Souls-like in its combat for a while, which was interesting. But she's been playing through it at the minute anyway. She bought it. Offered to stream it for me on the Discord, see if I'd be interested in it. It was like, I appreciate that, but fuck, I would not buy it anytime soon. But yeah, Jedi Fallen Order got a bunch of interest in it. Having like Souls-like combat in a Star Wars game which hadn't really been seen before. God damn it. And it's fine. It's not particularly deep. And then, Jedi Survivor really kind of knuckles down on that idea, in that the combat's fine, but the minute you have to fight more than one enemy, it falls to shit. And it's actually really kind of bad, because it feels like the game just isn't designed to deal with any more than one combatant at a time, but will regularly throw you up against that and tell you to deal with it. As a fan service stream, show Clim Titties and Game Titties. Have you considered Bayonetta? While you wait to buy Stellar Blade, have you considered Bayonetta? I do believe you own that. Doppelganger. My greatest opponent. I can't believe that worked. I own Bayonetta 3 times, I think. At this point, I got rid of my PS3 version when I got a 360 because it's so much better on 360. And I still own it on Xbox 360. It's backwards compatible, which helps. I bought it on PC. I own it 4 times. Do I? No, I got rid of most of my Wii U games. Death. out on Switch. Like, you could pick up the remaster, usually bundled with Vanquish, really cheap. And then, if you've never played Vanquish, I feel like Vanquish would be a game you'd probably vibe with. I feel like you'd be pretty down for Vanquish. Not necessarily to stream, but like to just have dumb fun with. I want to talk somebody into doing I want to talk somebody into doing as like just a marathon games directed by Shinji Mikami. Like, I don't want to do it personally, I've got too many like, series plans already. But like, talk somebody else into doing it. And it would include Vanquish, because Mikami directed Vanquish. Fucking Christ. Oh god! Yeah, Mikami directed Vanquish. Like, you could go through Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Remake, RE4, not actually God Hand, then RE4, and then I think Vanquish, and then Shadows of the Damned, and then The Evil Within. And that could be like an interesting set of games for someone to just do. I want to try and talk Ali into it, but I don't think she currently has a way of playing Shadows of the Damned. Get through this door, we're okay. We're okay. But yeah, Vanquish would probably factor into my history of stylish action idea. Because even though it doesn't follow the same idea as like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising, it is very much a case of like the point of the action is that it's very stylized and stylish. But yeah, Bayonetta, I regularly see it going sale on its own for like £5, bundled with Vanquish for like £8 on PS4 and Xbox One. Motherfucker. And then, like, after you do Bayonetta, you can steal your nephew's Switch and do Bayonetta 2. Which, like, I heartily recommend Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is really good. And it's a shame that more people weren't able to play it on the Wii U, but I'm glad that it's found a new audience on Switch. It's like, that audience might not be you specifically, Clem, but the Switch has such a much bigger audience than the Wii U did. And that's nice. It's a really good game. Bayonetta 3 has not grabbed me in the same way, but that's a whole other can of worms. Yeah, I'll have an axe. Oh, Bayonetta 2, it's a real shame that it didn't get much of an audience because it was exclusive to the Wii U. The Wii U didn't have a big install base. It's nice that it's found a new audience in on the Switch, and while you may not be that audience, like, it's there, the Switch has a huge install base, more people can play Bayonetta 2. I was kind of arguing with Rebel about that on Saturday. And like how Nintendo paid for Bayonetta 2 to even exist. And Rebel's opinion was like he'd rather it just not have existed at all than be exclusive to the Wii U. And it was like, that's a weird take. Such a weird take. But yeah, like if you get the chance, like borrow a Switch or something, borrow a copy of Bayonetta 2, even if you don't stream it, try it for yourself. Because Bayonetta 2, I feel, is a legitimate improvement over the original game. It's certainly more balanced in its difficulty. I look forward to streaming it one day. A lot of fun. And it brings back my favourite enemy type of that kind of game. Like dude-sized dudes. Like, not to spoil it in case you ever play it, but like Bayonetta 1 had Shaun as a recurring boss. There's a recurring boss in Bayonetta 2 who is also dude-sized. And it's like the best fights in the game. I love my dude-sized fights. They are my favourite. And I've spoken about this before with like Virgil being my favourite fights in Devil May Cry and such. That man moves quickly. If I keep going, he'll despawn. He said, hopefully. I think it worked. But yeah, like, dude fights in games like that where you're regularly fighting huge monsters, always my favourite things. And it applies to stuff like Onimusha as well. Oh god, he didn't despawn. Like in Onimusha, Onimusha 1, the Ronaldo fights are some of the most mechanically enjoyable fights in the game, I think. You know, considering Death is the boss of this level, the axe might have been better. Yeah, wall meat. We have a chance. Here it is, the Medusa corridor. So the most important thing when dealing with axe armors like this is to be aggressive. Like, do not give them an inch. There he is. The Grim Dickweaver himself. Well. I've got one more life left before I have to do this entire level again. And I didn't even land a damn hit on him. Excellent, I just got an extra life. Alright, let's do this. Coming for your death, you wrinkly skelly bitch. Yeah, it's like, oh no, 2 axe armors, cool, just keep going forward. Keep pushing them back, keep whipping them like the bitches they are. And you'll come out on top. That's mecha-chrono's pro tip for dealing with axe armors. That's actually a really good piece. Uh-oh, uh-oh. No, no! So close. Damn it. There are people who play through the Castlevania games with only the leather whip. Those people are crazy. I kinda wish I had the double shot for this cross right now. If I could just spam crosses at death, that'd be so much easier. Alright. Aggression. Damn it. Medusa took 3 points of health off me. You know we're in the late game now. Nonsense like that. Yes! Last life. Last hit point. We took down death. There's only one more left. Dracula. Good luck with that, nobody. Oh, that push over? Just gonna start shooting me now. I do legitimately love that they pulled out Simon's theme for this level, though. Like, this is theme of Simon, and I love that it's like, oh yeah, final level, go for it. I love that. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Clem. You take care of yourself, buddy, and we'll catch you next time. Good luck at trivia. Come on, kill me. Come on. God, you guys are worthless. I'm giving this to you. Alright, now we can go at this fresh with a full set of lives. Yeah, it's one of my favourite little bits of Super Castlevania 4. Like, you go into the Dracula fight, and it's all like, oh no, Dracula. And you start fighting Dracula. And then you get his health down to like half, and you enter the second phase. And it's like, it starts playing Simon's theme. The boss fight isn't even over yet, and it's like, yeah, go on. You've got this. Theme song power up. I love dumb stuff like that. I'm so easy to please in that regard. Like, just give me a good theme song for the main character, and then when they're about to do something awesome, start playing that theme song, and you've got me hooked. Bleach was really good with that. Bleach was really good with that. Largely because the main character theme for that show was so good. Number 1 is such a jam. And like, you get to the 1000 Year Blood War arc, And it's like, Bleach has been off the air for like quite a while. It's been gone for several years. And they've brought it back to animate the final arc of the manga. And it's like, oh, cool. And then Bleach and his friends first show up in the series. And they play this really awesome remix of #1. And it's like, yeah, we're back. Love it. Well, you boys can stay down there. I ain't fucking with you. Yeah, Bleach Soul Resurrection. There's not a lot of Bleach games that were actually released outside Japan. I don't like this from a design standpoint. It's hard because of the fire on the foreground. It's hard to see when they do their ground attack that sweeps fire forward. But yeah, Bleach Soul Resurrection, which was a really lackluster Muso clone. Like I say, there's actually very few Bleach games that were released outside Japan. The entire Heat the Soul series on PSP was exclusive to Japan. The 2 Soul Carnival games on PSP were exclusive to Japan. There were 4 Bleach DS games. 3 of them came out in the West. That 3rd one took years to be localized. The 4th one never came out in the West. There are 2 Bleach fighting games on Wii. Only one of them came out in the West. Like, if you're into Bleach and you want to play the video games, in the West there was very little there. God damn. And Soul Resurrection, the one I played, is the only Bleach game on a HD console. Well, that meat's no good to me over there. It's also a game that's been pricey for a long time. Motherfucker. Like, in the downturn of PS3 games, when you could generally get a lot of PS3 games pretty cheap because nobody wanted them, Soul Resurrection still cost me £22. The fact that I beat it within like 2.5 hours didn't enamor me with it. And then the rest of the game time is supposed to be like, oh yeah, play the challenge mode. And it's like, no. Your gameplay did not grab me enough during those 2.5 hours for me to turn around and play more of it. in an optional side mode. It's a shame I didn't end up really feeling it with anime, because the concept was sound. The main problem, I think, ultimately is just so many anime games are just fighting games. It's a lot of genre repetition. And I've given it thought in the past of like why something like Star Wars works out for me when something like anime or mecha-chrono doesn't. And I think it is the genre variation. Are we finally somewhere new? Is that finally a checkpoint? Star Wars does have more variety, yeah. It's why I think the Disney Marathon idea would also be pretty good. Because playing through a bunch of Disney games should also have like a bunch of variety in what genres they'd be. Whereas your anime is almost entirely fighting games. Your Metroidvania games are all very much the same ideas, and like if I dug through them to find a bunch of variety within the genre, that could work. But like, you really have to dig through them. And especially with the modern indie games in the genre, so many of them are just Souls-likes. So that's not very enamoring, I think. Like, at some point I'd like to give Blasphemous another try. I feel like it didn't really get a fair shake, I wasn't really in the mindset for it at the time. And it's regarded as one of the peaks of the genre, so I'd like to give it the time it really deserves. I didn't even realise that was there. Yeah, I'll take the cross. I hope this game lets me respawn at Dracula for my game over. Yeah, I think it is like primarily the genre variety that makes that kind of thing work. I imagine like if I ever get around to doing like the Disney month idea, or like, if I do end up doing, like, a month of only superhero games, which I may do, or I may just do superhero games as and when I feel like, the level of variety in them, I think, will really help. Why can I not notice these Black Panthers? We're there. No, I find it unbelievable that there is no meat here. Like, nothing here. That doesn't sound right. There's always something here. There's always some kind of stock up before Dracula. Is it really just this? Oh dear. I might have made a mistake.
There is no way I lose.
Appreciate your trust, Bane. Oh, he's getting more demonic. This can't be it, surely. Okay, and phase 2. Here we go. Oh yeah, I forgot this game does bring back the original second form that hasn't been seen since the first game. Oh. It should put me outside Dracula. To my knowledge, the only classic Castlevania game that doesn't respawn you outside the final fight with Dracula if you get a game over here is the Western version of Castlevania 3. And it's a change they made for the Western version, because in the Japanese version, if you died during that Dracula fight, you'd respawn in the Dracula fight. Fuck this one up. I really need to be on the ball during that second half of that first phase, when he starts throwing out 5 fireballs. Alright. We're gonna do this. It's crazy how close he teleports to you. If I can get the timing right, I can hit him and then be underneath when he throws the fireballs upwards. Can you believe the first attempt I made was the undeniable best? Ripping him apart in that first attempt. Alright. I do like that they keep the original bit where you take Dracula's head off, as it was in the original NES game. Damn, it just came out spewing that like crazy. Why is he throwing upwards this time? It seemed like I'd gotten him into a consistent pattern last time of throwing downwards. I have no idea how I'm supposed to avoid that. Alright. And I get to the second phase with like maybe 2 hits left. I think it's entirely fair that he pulls another attack out all of a sudden like that. Dracula's a cheating bitch. Alright. So a lot more cautious on this phase. You can destroy the fireballs on the second phase, so that's good to know. That should be the strategy. It takes such a small number of mistakes to just end me though. Yeah. We've got this. We're doing this. Yeah. I had so much more health that time, and he pulled out another completely new attack. I'm hoping we're getting there, and that it's not just gonna flip around and I'm gonna start doing worse again. Also, the point where this form starts to become vulnerable is kind of unclear, and I feel like he starts attacking before he's actually vulnerable. So I don't like that. Damn it! So I think him aiming downwards is a specific timing thing. If I jump and hit him just as he appears, I'll be on the ground by the time he goes to do his attack, so he'll aim for me downwards. I think that's the key to it. That didn't feel satisfying at all.
Success!
No, seriously, that didn't feel satisfying at all. Thank you, Ben. So, fun fact, even though we played a range mode on normal, this is actually the easier mode. Original mode is how the game was originally designed on for the Sharp X68000 and has all the classic Castlevania bullshit. So I've had the advantage of, like, apparently no knockback, controllable mid-air jumps and such. Original mode, none of that. Fixed jumps, absolute classic knockback. Ugh. Well, that is Castlevania Chronicles. Arrange mode done in around about 2.5 hours, because we spent like 25 minutes at the start not actually playing the game. If Dracula was successful. They've never really got into that. The issue of trying to predict what that would be lies in the inconsistency of Dracula's motivations throughout the series and his characterization. Sometimes he's a monster hellbent on just fighting, sometimes he'll have civilized discussion with whoever he's facing. It's been inconsistent throughout the series. Whether he'd rule over humanity or destroy them, I don't know. My best guess would be it depends on which incarnation is successful. Thank you, Panda. Yeah, there hasn't really been a point where he's been successful. Not even non-canon what-if modes. But yeah, it's Castlevania Chronicles. Like I say, I think if you're into classic Castlevania, it's well worth a look. It's underrated. It's very solid as far as Classicvania goes. If you're into Classicvania, you know what you're getting into. You can purchase this game, but only on the US PSN for PS3, PSP and Vita. It's the only way you can legally purchase this game in any easy fashion. How many Castlevanias? Lord of Shadow 2, Super 4, Symphony of the Night, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin. I have to check the Castlevania Marathon for more. We're up to 7 there. See if there's any I've forgotten about that I did finish. I know I didn't finish Legacy of Darkness, which was disappointing because the save file corrupted because Nintendo 64 controller packs are unreliable shit. Lord Shadow 2. Didn't finish Dawn of Sorrow. We did Aria of Sorrow. Did Lament of Innocence. Yeah, that's it. 7 Castlevania games. The intent would be more for the future. Original mode in this game is its own thing that I'd be interested in doing and throwing myself out until I win at a later date. Not today. Oh god, no. Dawn of Sorrow I want to go back to... I would like to beat the Nintendo 64 games on stream. Curse of Darkness is one that I should do. Mirror of Fate I'd like to do just to fully round out the Lord of Shadow series. Yeah, I'd like to beat Bloodlines. My entire issue with Bloodlines was the limited continues. So my solution for that idea has been, like, just get a set of passwords. And, oh, I run out of continues, cool. We're gonna start from the start of this level as if we had unlimited continues, as if this wasn't the dumbest fucking decision Konami made for this time period. But yeah, we do Bloodlines. Do it as if it's like a regular Castlevania game like that instead. I do want to do both N64 Castlevania games. Carrie and Reinhardt for 64, Cornell and Henry for Legacy of Darkness. Whether I would do Carrie and Reinhardt on Legacy of Darkness is a question for a later date. I wouldn't say never, but, like, certainly not anytime soon after doing Legacy of Darkness. Curse of Darkness would be something I'd want to do. I'd like to finish Castlevania 1 and 3 on stream. I want to do Belmont's Revenge for the Game Boy on stream. Castlevania The Adventure Rebirth I'd like to do on stream. There's Dawn of Sorrow. I would like to do Order of Ecclesia on stream. But I haven't beaten Order of Ecclesia since I first beat Order of Ecclesia. I only beat it once. So that would be an interesting experience to go back to. I think ultimately, like, there's very few Castlevania games that I'm like, I don't want to do. I want to do Rondo of Blood on stream. I never actually streamed Rondo of Blood, did I? I did the Let's Play for it, I never streamed it. It's like, Rondo of Blood, absolutely. Dracula X Chronicles, yes. Do them both. I wouldn't mind doing the PSP version of Symphony of the Night on stream sometime. Probably do both of those with the Requiem collection, because the visuals will be cleaner. I'm glad you like the Let's Play, Bane. I recorded that. I remember I recorded that in one session. It took me around about 3 hours to 100% that. I'd actually very recently done Rondo of Blood on Castlevania Requiem and gotten all the trophies on it. And I was like, this is fresh in my head. Like, everything I need to do, all the alternate pathways, where they all are. Let's do the Let's Play now. So I sat down, I had a bottle of Copperberg Strawberry and Lime that I just cranked open, and I recorded that entire thing in the space of like 3 hours. And it was good, it was fun. Because Rondo of Blood's a really good Classicvania game. Made sure to show off every stage, because you don't have to ever do alternate stage 5. I don't think it's required at all for 100%. Yeah, I'd like to do Rondo of Blood again, do it on stream this time. I've had trouble, like, part of the reason why I haven't just gone and done it, in all honesty, is I've had trouble getting the PC Engine CD emulator to work. I had it working once, on one system, on the Raspberry Pi that I had somewhere, and it's the only time I've ever gotten PC Engine CD working. Because, like, the version in Dracula X Chronicles and on Castlevania Requiem is dubbed in English, which it's nice that you can understand it. Like, the original Japanese is, I think, just generally better. Even if you can't really understand it, it's just generally better. It comes across better as well. So, like, in a choice between the two, I'd rather do the original. The Let's Play was actually recorded off my Wii U, using the Virtual Console version. It's one of the few games I own on the Wii Virtual Console. Because that game wasn't released on the Wii U Virtual Console, just a Wii Virtual Console. Fun little tidbit about that, actually. The Wii Virtual Console release of Rondo of Blood was the second time it was released outside Japan. The first was Chronicles, it came out after that. But, for some reason, they took the opening monologue from X Chronicles and put it into the original game for the Wii version. No real idea why. And nothing else is different. Yeah, Rondo of Blood would be a good one. I'd love to do that. If I can't get PC Engine CD emulation working, which I don't know why it isn't, I've tried looking through it and sorting it out. Teak tried helping me and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working because he's got it working on his own side. Like, if I can't get it working at any point, I'll either see about doing the Virtual Console version again, see if I can get that working on Dolphin. I'd like the version on Requiem to be a last resort. In all honesty, I'd rather do the original Japanese. Not really for any good reason, either. I'd just rather do the original. Yeah, at some point, we might have a Castlevania chronology thing, like maybe a day of Castlevania. Every week we'll just play some more Castlevania. I don't know. But I'm always down for more Castlevania. I do genuinely love this series. The two Bloodstained Curse of the Moon games, down to do those at some point. Count those as like honorary Castlevania. I've never actually beaten Curse of the Moon 1. And because of that, I've never actually played Curse of the Moon 2. I own them both. I have Curse of the Moon on Switch and PC. I don't think I have it on PS4. I have 2 on PC. I don't think I have it on Switch. Yeah, I've just never beaten it. Because that'd be something to do. Hopefully, we're gonna get back to more police notes soon. My throat's feeling generally better. You might be able to hear, like, as we start out, the voice is maybe a little off as we started today. Things gone back into the right place, but we'll see. Yeah, there are very few Castlevania games that I'm just like, no, I won't do those. Haunted Castle is a no, undeniably. The Adventure, the original release of The Adventure on Game Boy, is probably a no. But I might play it with the speed hack that makes Christopher just move faster. Because that game is, like, frustratingly slow. The speed hack won't fix all of its problems, but it'll make it quicker at least. Simon's Quest is most likely a no. Not even because it's bad, but because it'll be tedious. A lot of Simon's Quest is grinding. And grinding hearts for currency and such. Like, I could sit here with a guide open, or I could do it beforehand so I know offhand how to do it. But ultimately, it would be a fairly dull stream because of the grinding that would be required. And I think if there's anything I'm going to truly say no to always, it's stuff that I know will be boring to watch. That I don't think I could liven up through my commentary or whatever. It's why I refuse to do a proper playthrough of Bubsy 3D. It would be genuinely boring. There's the joke of it and everything, but in practice, Bubsy 3D would be genuinely boring. And Simon's Quest would also have that issue. But yeah, hopefully we're back to release notes on Thursday. We'll see. The most recent Castlevania game released was Lords of Shadow 2. If you're not talking about compilations and re-releases, it's Lords of Shadow 2, which was, I think, 2013. Technically, Castlevania Grimoire of Souls, which was a game that was, I think, exclusive for the Apple Arcade. Which was like Harmony of Despair in that it was mostly a recycling of a lot of pre-existing assets in a repeatable form. It was in beta. It was in beta on, I think it was the Apple Arcade. And Konami scrapped it because apparently it was free to play. But the design of it did not require or really even encourage microtransactions. So Konami scrapped it, is the story I've heard. But yeah, Lord Shadow 2 was the last release. As far as I'm aware, it underperformed. I mean, I did Lord of Shadow 2 before. I enjoyed Lord of Shadow 2 probably more than the first game. Critically, it performed worse than the first game. Critics preferred the first game. I preferred the second. Mirror of Fate, I'd like to do at some point. We'll wrap up that, round off that series. And I'm not against going through both Lord of Shadow games again on stream, like would see. It'd be fun. I don't think there's anything else really to say. Castlevania ROM hacks? And I have my handheld to hand. There's some that I have for the NES, but I've not really spent any time on them. I'm not so much of a ROM hack guy, I think. Like stuff that tweaks and improves things in games, like The Legend of Dragoon, expanded inventory where it doubles the inventory size, or stuff like Aria of Sorrow where it goes through and fixes all the names that have been mistranslated, like Lubricant becomes Rubicante, Curly becomes Carly, and so on and so forth, and those stuff, like the improvements. It's not often that something like the ROM hack that changes the game significantly is anything I ever really spend a whole lot of time on. Part of that might be because I don't do a whole lot of serious gaming outside of the stream. But I suppose if there was one that I'd be kind of interested in doing, it would be Castlevania Aria of Sorrow Alter. I've heard good things about that. I dabbled in it a little bit. I know it changed the map layout, among other things. It's supposed to be pretty good without being one of those bullshit ROM hacks. It's also a problem you see with a lot of ROM hacks like that, like they up the difficulty to a ridiculous degree. the point where it's often not fun. The Legend of Zelda Parallel Worlds has that issue. It's absurdly difficult for no good reason, with enemies taking so much damage to kill. To the point where there is a separate hack that exists of that hack that just reduces the difficulty, called Parallel Remodel. And, like, I might do that at some point when I run out of Zelda games and don't want to replay one that I've already done. That's a long way off, because we've still got all the handheld Zeldas to do. I've not done Link's Awakening, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Minish Cap, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, Link Between Worlds. So that'd be like way, way on the back burner. So I suppose in terms of the ROM hack idea, I'd rather play through like all the official games in the series that I'm interested in first, I guess. But yeah, Aria of Sorrow Altar would probably be the one I'd say. Any more questions from anybody before we wrap up? I don't want to start wrapping up and then we have another question and I stop everything to do that. So any more questions before we wrap up? Anybody have any genuine questions they want to ask? You're out of questions? Alright. Anybody else? Yeah, Castlevania Chronicles. If you're interested in classic Castlevania, I would recommend this. It's fun. It might have seemed like I got frustrated in the Dracula fight. That wasn't frustration, honestly. Like, if you've seen the stream before, you know that's not me when I get frustrated. That's me trying to work out how to deal with it. And not being like, I have the right approach and it's just not working for some reason. Yeah, I'd recommend this as a classic Vania thing. But that's probably going to be it with Castlevania for this year then. I've floated the idea of doing a couple of replays towards the end of the year. The idea being like, we're only playing games I've not beaten on stream before for this year on PlayStation. And I floated the idea of like in December maybe we'll just replay some games that I've done before. Like maybe we'll do another Symphony of the Night playthrough. But it's not super likely. Beyond that, I think like the next time we're really going to dive into Castlevania is going to be this release order idea I have of like just going through the series like, in release order and a significant number of them. Like a full Castlevania marathon sequel. I would especially like to do the 64 games again. I was so disappointed that we lost the save file for Legacy of Darkness. It's got its problems, but there's an element to the design of those Nintendo 64 Castlevania games that, while it may not be good, I find absolutely fascinating and a product of a bygone era. And again, may not be good, but I find it really engaging. Yeah, let that be a lesson to you though, like, Nintendo 64 controller packs are shit. And they always have been. I'm not having to deal with that. When we go back to that, that'll be nice. But anyway, that's going to do it for us for today. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Clem, Bane, Panda, thank you so much for joining me, keeping company. With any luck, we'll be back on Thursday with more police notes, hopefully. See how we feel. And then following police notes, I think it'll be time for us to start Ace Combat 3. We've put it off long enough. Flame redeemed it a long time ago now. It's time to dive into it and do all 5 endings. But yeah, there's not really anything else to say except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and there we go. We'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.